All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Shalom, Israel. Yahbashim Yahshai Barakatham Yahweh Shamar Latham Bashim Yahushai. To the brothers and sisters, I'm Priest Officer Parak holding down the weekly Sabbath service for the ISUPK out of Arizona. All right. Make sure you like and share the class. If you're not already, subscribe to our YouTube page. All right, and like us on Facebook. All right, so you get all of our updates. Also, at the very bottom of the screen, you can see our class schedule and our class location. All right. Today gonna be pretty, pretty clear cut and dry. We're gonna go over the Book of Job, right? Now, the Book of Job is a very big book. We're just gonna kind of get to the meat of it, right? We're gonna talk about what happened to Job, why it happened to Job, and we're gonna talk about the patience of Job, right? It's a very important book to read. If you haven't already, you should read this book, right? The Book of Job, because it's going to help you understand the way that the Most High works, right? And we'll of course we'll read about it, right? But Job was tested when he least expected it. You know what I'm saying? He was a servant of the Most High God, and he got tested. And I mean, he got the worst test that I can imagine of, right? It's the worst test that I can think of, right? Like I said, we'll get into it, right, and we'll break it down. So we'll go ahead and get started, all right? Just me up here, Mario. All right, we're gonna get started with the Sabbath service. Everybody else on Majo, which means to stand. We'll go ahead and read these prayers in both the Hebrew and the English. All right, beginning with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Awanawa, Shabbat Shemaya, Kodash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwithka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamaya, Nathalanawa, Lakam, Kawyawam, Wasalakanawa, Kawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kawatinawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Vanasai 1, Abal, Kawashanawa, Mayan, Raikaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wa'ala, Watha Para, La'awalamyam, Aman. Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Now, the power Hebrew, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Babu Kushai, Nathalanawa, Hakat, Larapa'ah, Kalmaka'alam, Wakal Hakat Latahar, Hamatazariah, Hakat Lakwayam, Hamathium, Hakat Arakawa, Hatama'ala, Lagarashan, Ba'ashem Yahushai, the Wadaman. In the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushai, thank you, so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Ahaharyam, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Isaiah, Ma'ain, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Wa'aratazah, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Ragalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al-Yad, Yamyaka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Walayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makalrat, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'athka, Wabah, Wa'aka, Ma'aitha, Wa'ai, Awalam. Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Yasharallah shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. The book of Psalms, chapter 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Adama Yalaka, Alta Karash, Wa Alta Shakwat, Al, Kayana, Awa Yabika, Yahmaya 1, Ra'ash, Al Imaka, Yarayamwa, Sawada, Wayatha, Ya'itazawa, Al Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakidam, Magalia, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yashalam, Awada, Kaya, Nawaitazawa, Laba, Yakadwa, Awyaka, Baryat, Yakarathwa, Ahawya, Adawam, Wayashamayalium, Mawa'aba, Wagaryam, Gabal, Wa'amawan, Wa'amalak, Palasha, I'm Yeshabya, Tazawar, Gam Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zarwa, Labanya Lawat, Salah, Aishalaham, Kamadyan, Kasayasara, Kayabyan, Banakal, Koyashwan, Nashamagwa, Bayan, Da'ara, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Salaki, Shayathamwa, Nada, Yabmawa, Kaira, Mukaza Abba, Mukaza Bak, Mukatazal, Mana'ai, Kal, Nasayah, Kamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Nayarashah, Lanawa, Ath, Nawath, Slaki, Alahayim, Alahayim, Shayathamwa, Kagalgala, Kakwash, Lapanya Raka, Ka'ash, Thaba'ira, Ya'ira, Wakala Haba, Thalahat, Haryam, Khan, Tharadapma, Basairaka, Wabasa, Wapatka, Tabalam, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kualawan, Waya, Bakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya, Bahawa, Ayda'ai, Waya, Kaparwa, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Da'iwa, Kayatha, Shamka, Yahawa, Labadka, Al Yawan, Al Kal, Ha'arataza. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Yasharallah may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites. As to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kisan, which perished that endured. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a rare, and like Zahel. Yea, all their princes as Abba, and as Amunah, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. Oh my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may see thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded in trouble forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish. that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, are the most high over all the earth. The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh, wa Yahweh Shai, wa Mayaka Allah, wa Allahayu, Mutazab Ya'ah, Alawab Yahanu, Ha Alawapyo, Ha Soranyo, Ha Kwatazayanyo, Ha Kaya Yayo, wa Ha Watin, Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, the Wadaman, in the English. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yohanan, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. Sorry, while you're shopping, we can be seated. All right, now what we're going to do, we're going to read 7 verses in the Hebrew first, and then we'll read those same 7 verses in the English and break it down. So we'll be in the book of Job, all right? We will be in the book of Job. We're actually going to start at the 6th verse, just because we got to do 7 verses at a time. I want to make sure I get to the more important parts. All right. So we're going to start. All right. We're going to start at the 6th verse. We'll read verses 6 through 12. All right. So this is verse 6 in the book of Job, chapter 1. Waya haya hayawam waya bawa banya ha'alahayim lahatha yatazab al Yahweh waya banwa waya bana gum hashatan bathawakam. Verse 7. Waya amar Yahweh al hashatan ma'ayan ma'ayan taba'a waya ain hashatan af Yahweh waya amar mashatan ba'arataza wama'af halak baha. Verse 8. Waya amar Yahweh al hashatan hasham hashamath hashamta laban labak al ibadya ayawab kaya ayan kamawa ba'arataza ayash tham wayashar yara'a alahayim wasar mara'ai. Verse 9. Waya ain hashatan ath Yahweh waya amar hakanam yara ayawab alahayim. Verse 10. Hala'a ath atha shakath ba'idwa wa ba'id by Yathwa wa ba'id call ashar lawa masabyum masabyaba ma'aisha yadywa barakath wa makwan hawa parataza ba'arataza. Verse 11. Wa awalam shalak na'a yadka wagai bakal ashar bawa la'a al panyaka. Yabaraka. Verse 12. Waya amar Yahweh al hashatan hana call ashar lawa by yadka rakwa al yawa Al, Tashalak, Yadka, Wayataza, Hashatan, Ma'im, Panya, Yahweh. All right, so that was verses 6 through 12 in the Hebrew. We'll read those same 6 verses. All right.
You want me to get them?
Con, yeah, if you could. Let's read them same 6 verses. So we'll read verses 6 through 12 in the book of Job.
The book of Job, chapter 1, verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord.
Right. So now this is a day when the sons of God, meaning the angels. There's 2 definitions of the sons of God. The sons of God can be the children of Israel, or the sons of God can also be the angels. Right. This specifically is talking about the angels. Right. So it says, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord. They were having a council. Right. That's what they were doing. Right. Whenever we have a major council and here a minor council, when we check into the council, we say, Parak Ban Yahweh, checking in, presenting myself for this council, right? And that's what the angels was doing, right? The angels doing the same thing before the Most High. They was presenting themselves before the Most High. Go ahead.
And Satan came also among them.
And Satan also came among them. Satan is also, remember this, everybody should always remember this, that Satan is an angel of God. And so he comes to them councils too, right? Satan, this proves that Satan wasn't cast into hell. You get what I'm saying? He wasn't cast onto the earth, right? Because he was able to come into the counsel of the Lord. I mean, that's just, that's a big cut to Christianity, because Christianity teaches what? That Satan got cast out into hell, cast out into the earth, right? And was not allowed in heaven, right? But Satan is found in his counsel, right? Go ahead.
Right. Verse 7. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord.
So the Most High asked Satan, he said, where you coming from, right? And Satan answered the Most High, and he said, what?
And said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it.
So just remember, this is Satan's job. Satan's job is to go to and fro in the earth and walk up and down in it. Give me 1 Peter the 5th chapter, right? That's his job. His job is to go around the earth, and he's looking for a worthy adversary. You get what I'm saying? He's looking for somebody that he can test, somebody weak, right? Somebody that's weak that he can test. And we're going to read about it, right? 1 Peter the 5th chapter. Let's read verse 8. Start at verse 8.
Book of 1 Peter, chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant.
You got to be vigilant, right? You got to be on high alert at all times. Why? Go ahead.
Because your adversary, the devil, is a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour.
This is what Satan does, man. Satan is going up and down in these streets. Everywhere that you go, he's looking to see who he can tempt, right? And so this is what you got to understand. And we're going to read about Job. We're going to see what happens with Job. So I don't want to say too much, right? I want to let the story kind of speak for itself, right? But this is what we have to be on the lookout for. And this is exactly what Satan just told the Lord he was doing. He just told the Lord that he was going to and fro in the earth, and he was walking up and down in it. He's looking for somebody that he can devour, right? He's, as the scripture called him, as a roaring lion, right? And just so we can understand, this is the same spirit that your oppressor has. Your oppressor has the same spirit. When you see the term devil in the Bible, the reason why we call the oppressor the devil the Bible speaks of is because the word devil means deceiver, right? And that's exactly what our oppressor is. And our oppressor does the same thing that Satan does. That's why they go hand in hand, man. They go hand in hand, right? Keep going.
Verse 9. Whom resisteth steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world.
Listen, man. They said, whom resist steadfast in the faith. knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. You're not the only one getting tested, man. You're not the only one that got tested. We're about to read about Job getting tested. And then when you read this story, you should really look into you should look into what's going on in your life, and you should think, is it really that bad? You know what I'm saying? Is it really that bad? Because what Job went through is a lot harder than what a lot of you niggas leave the truth for. You leave a lot of you niggas that leave the truth because you don't want to follow order, right? Job never left the truth. Job never left the truth, and his kids got killed, man. His kids got murdered by people, right? His house was destroyed, his sheep and his cattle and his riches was destroyed, and he didn't leave the truth. So just remember that. You got to remember that, right? The same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. So now let's take it back. Let's go back to Job, the first chapter, right? And we'll read verse 8. So now we just read, right, that Satan came also among the sons of God to present himself before the Lord. And we're going to see why he came to present himself before the Lord, right? So let's get verse 8.
Verse 8. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job?
Listen, Satan didn't have to say a goddamn thing. I mean, it's like, Satan didn't have to say a goddamn thing. The Lord already knew what was going on. The Lord knew what Satan had been doing, who he had been studying. And the Lord had been studying Job. I mean, it's like Satan had been studying Job, so the Lord knows that. And so the Lord asked Satan, have you been considering my servant Job? Go ahead.
That there is none like him in the earth.
Yeah, go ahead.
A perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil.
Listen, man, Satan, it's like the Most High said to Satan, he said, listen, have you considered my servant Job, right? That there is none like him on the face of the earth. It's like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. Like I said, Satan wants a worthy adversary. He's trying to get the one that claims to love the Most High. He's trying to get you. He's trying to get you in the truth. You know what I'm saying? He want to come and get you because that's a worthy adversary. He want to get somebody that he thinks is that thinks they're strong, but he thinks they're weak, right? And so, and we're gonna see that Satan said that Satan thought that Job was weak by this next statement, right? Verse 9.
Verse 9. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, doth Job fear God for naught?
So then now this is a good question. It's a good question that Satan asked. He said, does Job fear Satan for nothing? Right? He said, God damn. When I got all these names, does Job fear the Lord for nothing? Right? And that's a good question. That's a really good question. Why? Because he's about to explain it, right? But he's saying that there's a reason why Job fears you. There's a reason why Job fears the Most High, right? Go ahead.
Right. Verse 10. Has not thou made a hedge about him and about his house and about all that he hath on every side?
Mm-hmm.
Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land.
Listen, so let's get Tobit. Let's get Tobit in the Apocrypha, right? So Satan is pleading a good cause, right? He's pleading a good cause because he's saying the only reason why Job fears the Lord is because he's made a hedge around him. He's basically blessed him. That's what he's saying. So he's basically saying, you take all of those things away from him, he's not going to fear the Most High anymore. He's going to denounce his faith in the Lord, right? And that's one thing that we got to understand is that a lot of people would fold if they weren't so blessed. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people that are blessed, they say they love God. They say that, they go to church and all of that. And they pray and this, that, and the third, right? But when times get tough, they denounce the Lord. You get what I'm saying? They tell themselves, I'll never be the same person that I was before. I'll never, be a drug dealer, a drug abuser, or anything like that. I won't be an alcoholic, right? But as soon as times get hard and they have that bad day, they go and drown themselves in a fifth of vodka. You get what I'm saying? Or a fifth of whiskey, or a fifth of whatever they like, whatever their demon is. You get what I'm saying? And they go right back to being that alcoholic, or they go right back to being that weed smoker. They have a bad day. They lose all their faith in the Lord. And they go back to getting high. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the easy way out. That's the easy way to deal with your problems. And that's what Satan is saying. Satan is saying, listen, the only reason this brother fears you and serves you is because, you blessed him. You give him everything he wants. And think about it, right? Just before we get to this precept, right? Think about it. Once again, the Lord is a father, right? So when your father gives you everything that you want and protects you and, gives you all the gifts and the toys and all of that, of course you love your dad. But, come time when you don't get that gift you want, when he says no, then it comes, come to find out you don't really, you don't really love that man like you say you do. And that's, of course, a lot of kids don't understand that concept of love, right? And so, of course, when times get hard and they don't get what they want, I hate you, and this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Because, of course, their faith is not that strong, right? And that's children. But think about that in comparison to the Most High and the children of Israel. We are like children, too. When you go through this entire Bible, you see how we're like children, and we do the same thing that a child would do when we don't get what we want. Go ahead.
Just like when we were in the forest, right? When we were in the wilderness,
right?
We would complain, and the Most High would, give us and give, and we would still complain on top of that.
Right. Yeah, we would always complain. You get what I'm saying? And so, in a lot of brothers and sisters, damn near all of Israel stopped serving God. When times got hard, when Moses was receiving the commandments, you get what I'm saying, on the mountain, everybody, they was like, listen, they've been up there for too long. I'm done with this. And they told Aaron to make them a golden calf and say, this is the God that brought you out of Egypt. You get what I'm saying? And that's exactly what people do when times get hard. So point being is, Satan knows that. Satan absolutely knows that, right? So he's saying, he's pleading his cause to the Most High, saying, listen, Job only serve you because you give him everything. Take all that stuff away from him and see what'll happen. But I want to focus on 12th chapter, right? Let's read Tobit 4 and 5.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4, verse 5.
We're gonna see why the Lord gave Job everything. Go ahead.
My son, be mindful of the Lord our God all thy days, and let not thy will be set to do sin.
Right. This is an excellent scripture, because it's going to show you the reward that you get for doing these things, right? Let not thy will be set to sin, right? Don't think about what you can do wrong. Think about what you can do right. Go ahead.
Or to transgress his commandments.
Mm-hmm.
Do uprightly.
Do what?
Uprightly.
Listen, the scriptures called Job an upright man, didn't it? Did we just read where Job was an upright man? Right? Said, do uprightly. Go ahead.
All thy life long.
This doesn't stop. This isn't do uprightly for a little bit. This is do uprightly all thy life long, forever. Like the scriptures say, he that endured to the end, right? The very same shall be saved. This is a lifelong thing. You can't be, you can't be like the Christians and be holy on Sunday and go and be a goddamn deviant the rest of the week, right? Go ahead.
And follow not the ways of the unrighteousness.
Go ahead.
For if thou deal truly, thy doings shall prosper. Thy doings shall prosperly succeed to thee and to all them that live justly.
Listen, man, and that's the reward, man. If you listen, this is what it said: for if thou deal truly, thy doings shall prosperously succeed to thee and to all them that live justly. And that's what happened to Job. Job had everything. Let's take it back to the book of Job, right? Job had everything. We're gonna find out that he had riches, he had beautiful sons and daughters. You get what I'm saying? He had a family, he had everything. He had a wife that loved him. He was a man that escheweth evil, right? Meaning he stayed away from evil. He didn't do the things that everybody was doing at that time, right? That's what's called set apart. That's what's called holy. Holy means separate, being separate, right? And that's what Job was, right? But let's find out, right? Let's find out what happens, right? So let's take it back and go into verse 11.
Verse 11. but put forth thy hand now and touch all that he had, and he will curse thee to thy face.
So now Satan is once again he's pleading a good cause because he's saying, listen, he only served you because of everything that you've given him, but put forth your hand, right, and touch all that he has, basically meaning take everything from him, and he will curse thee to thy face. Satan is saying that Job will denounce the Most High. He will not serve the Most High if you take everything from him. The only reason that he loves you is because you give him everything, right? We're gonna find out, and this shows you, this exchange between Satan and the Most High shows you that Satan is just a servant of the Most High. He's just somebody that reports to the Most High. It's that simple, and we're gonna find out for sure in this next verse, right? Go ahead.
Verse 12. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath is in thy power.
Listen, the Lord said unto Satan, behold, that all that he hath is in thy power. He gave Satan that power, man. Listen, Satan didn't do anything on Satan. I want everybody to understand this. Satan does nothing on his own. Never does anything on his own. He only does what he gets permission to do, right? And he got permission, right, to touch everything that Job had, except what? Go ahead.
Only upon himself put not forth thy hand.
But he couldn't take his life. He couldn't kill him, right? And that was an order. Satan carried out that order. We're going to find out. Keep going.
So Satan went forth of the Lord.
So Satan went out and he said, okay, that's it. That's all I needed was the green light. And green light from the Most High. Let's get James, the first chapter, right? Light from the Most High. He said, listen, I can go and I can prove that Job don't really love the Most High like that. Because I'm going to take everything from him, right? And he's going to be so upset about he lost. He's going to go back smoking weed. He's going to go getting high. He's going to go back being a drunk. He's going to go back to all of the ways that he was doing before he got blessed.
Go back to that vomit.
You're going to go back to that like a dog returned to his vomit. Like the scripture say. Chapter in the 13th verse.
You want me to read it?
Con.
Okay.
Yeah, James, the book of
James.
Yeah. No, that's no sweat. Right, so we're gonna find out something, right? Because now we just saw that Satan gets the permission from the Lord to go and tempt you. But who does the tempting? Right? We're gonna find out. Satan doesn't tempt you, neither does the Lord tempt you. And we're gonna find out. Who really does the tempting here, right? So give me James 1 and 13.
1 and 13. Book of James, chapter 1, verse 13. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God.
Listen, when you tempted, you cannot say that you were tempted of the Most High. The Most High didn't tempt you. Keep going.
For God cannot be tempted with evil.
So the Most High cannot be tempted with evil. Go ahead.
Neither tempt he any man.
And the Most High also doesn't tempt any man. Right? Keep going.
But
let's see who is tempting who, right? Go ahead.
But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust.
Of his what?
His own lust.
Listen, that's when you are tempted. When you are drawn away of your own lust, you tempt yourself. You have your lust. The lust that you have. Listen, if you want to get high, you'll get high. That's that simple. It's that simple. If you want to have sex with everything that moves, you'll just do that. That's what you'll do. If you want to be a sexual deviant, you will be one. Not that anybody is forcing you to. Nobody's forcing you to be a sexual deviant. You think God is forcing you to be a sexual deviant? Or he's forcing you to put that blunt to your lips? Or he's forcing you to put that needle in your arm? Or to drink that entire gallon of goddamn liquor? You think he's the one that's doing that? No, that's you. That's you tempting your own self because you have those lusts. The Lord isn't tempting you at all. Neither is Satan. I'll do you one even better. Satan isn't tempting you either. When Satan goes to tempt Job, we'll find out that Satan isn't even tempting Job. We'll find out that Job would be the only one that can make himself to sin. Satan can't make him sin. And we find out that Job was strong enough to be able to, understand that. Right. To be able to understand that he's in control. You get what I'm saying? You're tempted. You're tempted of your own your own lust, right? And entice. Give me verse 15.
Verse 15. Then, then when when lust hath conceived,
Mm-hmm.
and bringeth forth sin.
So when you give into your lust, now lust isn't always a bad thing, right? You should lust after your wife. That's a healthy thing, right? But there are bad things that you can lust for, and sometimes it just be like that. Sometimes you have things, you demons that you fight. The point is you have to fight them. You get what I'm saying? Some people have a terrible history of of being addicted to sex or being addicted to drugs or addicted to cigarettes or whatever the case, right? That's something that sometimes can never leave a person. Sometimes you'll fight that for the rest of your life. But that lust, you cannot let that lust conceive. Meaning you can't give into it, right? You cannot give into that lust. You know what I'm saying? You can have a terrible day, which a lot of brothers and sisters that used to smoke cigarettes, I was one of them. I used to smoke cigarettes, and that feeling of, oh, you could just smoke a cigarette and your stress will go away. That usually doesn't ever go away for people, right? But the point is you don't give into it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get that moment of, this, if I just gave up, it would be easy, right? But you don't give up. And that's the point. You cannot let this part happen, right? You can't let this part happen when that lust that you have conceives, right? And you give into it, right? Keep going.
Right. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death.
Mm-hmm. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death, right? When you give into that weakness that you got, listen, man, it's gonna kill you. That weakness that you got. Remember, the wages of sin is death. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what it is. A sister said this. Sister said, weakness is the devil's work, and that's damn right. You know what I'm saying? That's the weakness that you got is Satan, working on you. You know what I'm saying? Working on you, wearing you down, and you allowing it to happen. Remember, it all falls back on you. It all falls back on you. You are the one that are allowing these things to happen, right? So no, that's an excellent point. Let's go back into it. All right. All right, so we're gonna get Job. First chapter, we're gonna go through verses 16 through 22 in the Hebrew. All right. So we kind of skipping around just a little bit. I want to get the main points right. All right, so we read verses 16 through 22 in the Hebrew, then we'll read it in the English and break it down. All right. Verse 16, Awad, Zaha, Madabar, Wazaha, Ba'a, Wayamar, Ash, Alahayim, Napala, Mana, Hashamyum, with Wathabira. It's like Wathaba Ira, Bataza'an, Wabanirim. It's like Wabanarium, Watha'akalium, Wa'amalat, Rakwa, Anya, La Badya, Laga, Yada, Laka, verse 17, Iwad, Iwada, Zaha, Madabar, Wazaha, Ba'a, Waya Amar, Kashadyum, Shamwa, Shalasha, Ra'ashim, Waya Pashatwa, Al, Hagamayum, Waya Hawam, Wa'ath, Hana'aryum, Hakawa, Lapaya, Karab, Wa'amalat, Rakwa, Anya, Labadya, Lahagayad, Laka, verse 18, Id, Zaha, Madabar, Wazaha, Ba'a, Waya Amar, Banyaka, Wabanwa, Fayak, Akarium, Washathium, Yayan, Baba Yath, Akayam, Habakawar, verse 19, Wahana, Rawak, that's like a Raka, Salaki, Raka, Gadawal, Ba'ath, it's like a Ba'a, Ma'ai, it's like a Ma'ai Hamadabar, Wayagai, Ba'arab, it's like a Ba'arabai, Panwath, Habayath, Wayapal, Al, Hana'ayim, Wayamawathwa, Wa'amalat, Rakwa, Anya, Labadya, Lahagat, Slaki, Lahagayad, Laka, verse 20, Wayakwam, Ayawab, that's like Ayawab, Wayakarai, Ath, Ma'awa, Wayagaz, Ath, Ra'ashwa, it's like Wayapal, Aratazah, Wayashathakwa, verse 21, Waya Amar, Iram, Yetazathia, Yetazaathia, Mabatal, it's like a Mabatan, Ya, Wa'iram, Salaki, Ashawab, Shema, Yahweh, Nathan, Wa Yahweh Lakwa, Yahaya, Sham, Yahweh, Mabarak, verse 22, Bakal, Za'ath, La'ah, Kata, Ayawab, Wala'ah, Nathan, Thapalah, La'alahayim. All right? Salaki. God damn. Brother, eyes get to getting stuck reading the Hebrew sometimes. All right, so now we're gonna read verses 16 through 22 in the English, Job, the first chapter. All right.
Book of Job, chapter 1, verse 16. While he was yet speaking.
So now I just want to make everybody okay. I know I skipped around, right? For the sake of making sure that we understand the context of this, right? Let's read up a little bit. So let's start at verse 13.
Verse 13. And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house.
Right.
And there came a messenger unto Job.
So now everybody getting down, everybody doing this, the thing that they normally do, right? They're enjoying life. That's exactly what him and his family did. And so his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. They was all, chilling together, having family time, a good time, right? And there came a messenger unto Job. Somebody came to deliver a message unto Job, right? Go ahead.
And said, the oxen and plowing, and the asses feeding beside them.
So it said the oxen, the oxes, they were plowing, and the asses were feeding, but the donkeys, they was feeding beside them. These are Job's possessions, right? Go ahead, verse 15.
Verse 15, and the Sabians fell upon them and took them away.
And so the Sabians fell upon them oxes and all of your possessions, right? Or fell, well, I don't want to say all of his possessions, right? But fell on his oxes and his donkeys and took them away. Right? Go ahead.
Yea, they had slain the servants with the edge of the sword. and I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
So this man worked for Job. Job had servants, and all of the servants were killed by the Sabians. So now the Sabians did this. They went and they stole the oxes and stole the donkeys, right? And those are valuable, those are valuable things, especially if you got a farm, right? Stole them, killed all of the servants of Job except for this one, him, right? Keep going.
Verse 16. While he was yet speaking.
So in the middle of this servant telling Job about the terrible thing that just happened, go ahead.
While he was yet speaking, there came also another.
So there came another servant, go ahead.
And said, the fire of God is fallen from heaven, and hath burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
So now, this other servant that's in charge of a whole vision of Job's establishment, you know what I'm saying? He was in charge of the sheep, right? So he was in charge of the sheep along with a bunch of other servants, right, which are also very valuable. And he come running into, listen, the sheep got destroyed by a fire that came up, and it destroyed all the other servants that was over that division. I'm only alone. I'm only escaped to tell you what happened, because everybody else died, right? Let's keep going.
While he was yet speaking, there came also another.
So while that servant came, interrupted the other servant for telling that back. Now there's somebody else coming to the news, right? Go ahead.
And said, the Chaldeans made out 3 bands and fell upon camels.
And it's a goddamn Chaldeans came and took the camels, which are very, very valuable. Once again, go ahead.
And have carried them away.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, and slit the edge of the sword, and only am escaped to tell thee.
So now you see what's going on, right? You see that this isn't as bad as it's about to get. But you ever felt like, it's just one thing after another and you just can't catch a break? That's Satan, man. He's trying to tempt you. And the same way that he's trying to tempt Job right here. Because one thing after another keep happening. So he got these servants coming up under him like, listen, man, they done killed everybody and stole your livestock. You get what I'm saying? And then another guy come and say, yeah, this livestock that I was in charge of, yeah, they went and stole that. They stole the sheep too. You know what I'm saying? And killed all the servants that was over that division. Right? And then somebody, while he talking, somebody else come and say, yeah, the Chaldeans came and stole the camels and killed all the rest of the servants. And I'm only reason I'm alive is to come tell you.
Right.
Like, that's one thing after another. So if you've ever felt like that, that's just you being attacked by Satan. You should do what Job ends up doing here, which we'll find out in just a minute, right? Keep going.
And while he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house.
Which is what we just read in the 13th verse, right? All of his sons and daughters were together in one house. Just so happened, what a coincidence, they was all in one house together, eating and drinking, having a good old time, having family time, which is something that Job was blessed to have, children that give a damn about each other. You know what I'm saying? They get together. I don't talk to half of my brothers and sisters. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't talk to them because that whole family thing wasn't instilled in them. You get what I'm saying? But that was instilled in his children. His children got together and had dinner with each other. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they died, and they were dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I only am escaped to tell thee.
So now his God did, and this is probably the worst part, of course, right? But there came a great wind from the wilderness, meaning a strong wind, right? And smote the four corners of the house, meaning the wind tore the house up, right? And it fell upon the young men, and they are dead, right? It killed his children, right? So you see what's happening, right? This is all happening. Now think about all of this happening at once. Everything is happening at once. So all of his money, right? Because his lives at that time, livestock and stuff like that, all of that was currency. You can sell them, or you can use them to you can use them on your farm, right? They're important things, and at that time they were really important. That was if you didn't have those things, if you didn't have sheep, it was a problem. You get what I'm saying? And so not only did he lose his riches and lose his livestock and everything that he had, he lost his children too, right? But let's see the difference between you and Job, because Job did something different. When you come into hard times and things pile up on top of each other, you just lay down and and give up, right? And you return like the officer said, to that vomit that you were before, right? Let's see what Job did. Go ahead.
Verse 20. Then Job arose and rent his mantle
Mm-hmm.
and shaved his head
Mm-hmm.
and fell down upon the ground and worshiped.
And did what?
And worshiped.
So all of these terrible things happened to him, and he didn't pick up a blunt. He didn't drown himself in a bottle of liquor. He didn't do that. What did he do? He prepared himself for the Lord, and he worshiped. He worshiped the Most High. That's what he did. Right? Why? Keep going.
Verse 21. And said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither.
Listen, man, and that's a beautiful quote, man. He said, I came out of my mother's womb naked. That's what you do. You come out, when you're born, you don't have riches. When you're born, you have $0. You're not worth anything, right? You're not, you don't have a what do people call it? A net worth. You don't have a net worth. You get what I'm saying? You're just a baby that comes out of your mother's womb naked, owning nothing. Nothing belongs to you, right? Keep going.
Right. The Lord gave.
It's like, my bad. I thought you hadn't read that, but and naked shall I return thither. Meaning, when I die, I can't take nothing with me. You know what I'm saying? That's a quote that people use all the time, but it's true. When you die, what are the riches that you have matter to you? It don't matter to you, because you're going to be dead. Scriptures say the dead knoweth nothing. So that's just the truth about it, right? And he's about to explain what he means by that. Go ahead.
And the Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away.
Listen, man, the Lord was the reason that he had those children. That's the reason why he had them children. The Lord gave him them children, right? The Lord gave him them sheep. The Lord gave him them camels. You get what I'm saying? And them those oxes. The Lord gave him all of those things. And he understood that. He also understood, because the Lord gave them to him, the Lord could take them away. I know a lot of blacks and Hispanics have heard their mothers say, I brought you into this world, I could take you out. That's the Lord, though. Your mother don't really have your mother don't have that type of power. She can't, that's not in her she's not, people shouldn't say that type of thing, right? Because it's up to the Lord. He decides who gets to die and who gets to live, right? But the Lord brought you. He was the reason that you were, that you are alive today, right? He can also kill you. So the same way that he can kill you is the same way he can also take away the things that he gave to you. He gave you your life. He can take it away by killing you. He gave you the riches that you have. He can take away your riches. And that's what Job understood. Job wasn't vain, man. Job actually served the Most High. He wasn't the type of guy that served the Most High just when it was convenient for him. Because you see, as of right now, when it was inconvenient to serve God, he still served God. And that's what you have to wrap your mind around that. You have to really understand what it means to serve God. Serving God don't always mean it's going to be, butterflies and ponies and, rainbows. That's not what it means to be a servant of God. Being a servant of God looks like hell sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But you have to endure. And that's what Job is going through. And this is only part of it, right? We're gonna get through some more. Go ahead.
Fiery trial.
That's a fight. And that's a beautiful thing, because I'm about to pull Ecclesiasticus, the 2nd chapter, right? But before I do that, before we get Ecclesiasticus 2, right? Read the rest of that.
Verse 22. In all this Job sinned not.
He sinned not. Go ahead.
Nor charged God foolishly.
Listen, in all this, give me Ecclesiasticus, the 2nd chapter in the Apocrypha, right? In all this, everything that happened to him so far, and this is just the beginning of it. And all that happened to him so far, he did not sin at all. He didn't sin, right? And he didn't charge God foolishly. He didn't say, he didn't say, man, why is God doing this to me? Why me, God? Why so many people do that? So many people are weak and say, why me? Damn all of that, right? Job didn't do that. Job didn't, and he didn't sin. Once again, when a lot of people go through that, that fiery trial, like you said, or when they get into a tough situation, they go back to being the filthy animal that they were before. But because of the wisdom of the Bible, we know that we're supposed to expect those things. We're supposed to expect it to be hard, right? And we're about to find out why, right? So let's get Ecclesiasticus 2, and let's start at verse 4.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 2, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully.
Take what?
Cheerfully.
Whatever is brought upon you, take it cheerfully. What did Job do? He took it cheerfully, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, I'm sure he wasn't laughing and skipping and hopping because his kids died. But what it means when it says take cheerfully, it means just endure it. Just deal with it, man.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And that's what Job did. Job, when he found out all of that news, and all of that news hitting you at once, your riches are gone, your children are gone. That's a terrible thing. Imagine, and now if you take it into today's terms, imagine you got $1 million in your bank account. That's the type of Job was rich. Job was absolutely rich, right? And so imagine you got $1 million in your bank account, and you got a good family, a big family, the family that you've always wanted. When you were a child, you always wanted a big family. You wanted 10 kids or however many kids y'all want, right? And somebody comes and tells you, your bank account was shut down because of some sort of stock investment that you invested in, the stock dropped or whatever. Hell, I don't know how that type of stuff. I ain't got $1 million. I don't know how $1 million works, right? But point being is, you lost all your money. Somebody comes and tells you, and yeah, you don't have $1 million anymore. You have $0. Somebody comes and tells you that, and at the same time they come and tell you, yeah, you ain't got no money. Somebody else come running and tell you, hey, your kids were burned in a house fire and they're dead. At the same time. So if you can imagine the amount of stress that you're going through, that'll make you just drop to your knees and say, F it all, I'm done, right? Job took it cheerfully. Job dealt with it. And what did he do to deal with it? He reasoned, right? He had reason, he had logic, right? He said, naked came out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord he gave me all of those things. He gave me that $1 million. He gave me them kids that I always wanted. He took them away too. He just chalked it up as, it is what it is. That's one of my favorite statements, is it is what it is. What are you going to do to change it? You're going to charge God foolishly like Job didn't do? You're going to charge God foolishly and, and so why me, God? No, it's over. It's done. The children are dead, right? Children are dead. The livestock is gone. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's it. What are you going to do about it? Right? Cry? What did Job do? He didn't do that. He worshiped the Most High. You know what I'm saying? And he said, blessed be the name of the Lord. What are you going to say?
Yeah, I know some cats in the world, right? He gone now, but his mother, died. And all he was thinking about as he was talking, when we were at the hospital, he was just saying, fuck it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But, so he's going, basically his mindset was I'm gonna just go out all out.
Yeah.
So what he ended up doing is, man, basically he did something, something I would say something against the Lord, something that's not something you shouldn't be doing.
Right.
Right. And that's how he went out.
Right.
And that's really where, and all because of what he went through.
Right.
All because of how he lost, a family member.
Right.
And really, that's not how you should have thought about it,
Right.
What kind?
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like he didn't like that's a selfish thing. When people die and you go off, like that's selfish as hell. Right? Because why are you sad about it? Like General Muhammad broke it down the best. Why are you sad about this person being gone? Because you've created memories with them and you know what I'm saying, and lived a good life with them. And then now all of a sudden they're gone and you don't, all you have left is the memories of them and that's what makes you sad because they're not here anymore. But then if you start disassociating and basically like the brother did go off, where you're not allowing other people to make those same memories with you. So now you're being selfish because other people, when you die, want to be able to have the memories that they can look back on with you. But you done went off and turned into some animal because somebody else died that you made memories with. You know what I'm saying? That's a selfish thing, and that is the opposite of what Job did. Because think about it. I understand, a mother dying. That's terrible. Mothers are supposed to die before you, though. You know what I'm saying? Fathers, people, your uncles, people that are older than you, they're supposed to die before you at some point, right? Your children are not, though. Your children are supposed to outlive you. That's how it's supposed to go. That's how it's designed. Job dealt with his children dying before him, right? And what did he do? He didn't charge God foolishly. And going out and acting a damn fool when somebody dies, that's you charging God foolishly too. Don't get it twisted. That's you charging him foolishly.
Not only that, but saying basically cursing you, because some people do that, like what the hell did I do to deserve this?
Right.
That's what they will always ask. Right. Why me?
Right. And you think everything is about you, and that's a terrible trait that blacks and Hispanic. Everybody got it. I don't say just blacks and Hispanic. Everybody is stupid like that, in that sense. You know what I'm saying? Where why me? You mean why you? You don't think you deserve this? It's a lock here, but just to put everybody in their place, even me, right? Anything that happens to you, you deserve. Anything that happens to you. If your children die, you deserve it. If your mother dies, you deserve. If you die, you deserve it.
Right.
Everything that happens to you, you deserve. Why? Because the Lord says so. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. The Lord isn't, he's not a mystery. Like the scriptures say that God is not the author of confusion. It's not confusing to understand God. It's very simple. God only wants a couple of things from you. You get what I'm saying? He wants you to fear him and keep his commandments. Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. That's all he gives a damn about. He wants you to fear him, keep the commandments. That's the entire duty of man and woman. You know what I'm saying? That's simple. Right? And we're gonna get into it, right? But that's why Job's friends thought he deserved it. Job's friends was like, nigga, you did something wrong. His homeboys was like, hey man, listen, I understand you're going through something right now. And I know you feel like you didn't do anything, but nigga, you did something to piss the Most High off this bad to where he kills everything around you. Like, God, if I was one of his friends, I'd have been reluctant to be around him. I'd have been like, hey man, I'm glad y'all having this good conversation. I'm out for the Lord killed me trying to prove a point to you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how bad it was, right? But like I said, we'll get into that, right? All right, let's see. Oh yeah, let's get back to it, right? So Ecclesiastes is the second chapter, the middle of verse 4, or the end of verse 4.
Verse 4. Middle of verse 4. And be patient when thou art changed to a low state.
And that's that low state that Job was in. That's a low state, man. That is a low state for you to go through those types of things. Imagine of the his countenance, man. You know what I'm saying? Imagine it. Like think about it real hard. How somebody would come off after their children are dead and they lost all their money. Like think about it. He was in a real low estate, right? But he had patience. That's why the name of this class is called The Patience of Job, because he had patience, man, when he was changed to a low estate. Let's keep reading, right? Verse 5.
Verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
Listen, man, that is what Job understood. He understood that, right? He understood that gold is tried in the fire. In order for gold to, now this ain't real gold. I say that all the time. I know y'all know that. But if this was real gold, right? This would have had to been tried in the fire. I mean, it had to been purified because gold by itself is, I'd say, ugly. When you find gold in the ground, it's got a bunch of dirt in it and it's got a whole bunch of impurities in it. It has to be tried in the fire. I mean, it has to go in that furnace and it has to be purified for it to come out looking real nice and pretty, right? So now, the same way that gold has to come out looking nice and pretty, everybody appreciates gold. Everybody appreciates gold. People pay, I think it's $1,100 an ounce is what it's worth right now, right? I think it's worth $1,100 an ounce right now for gold, right? People pay good money for good quality gold, but that gold had to go through something to be worth that much, right? You find a gold nugget in the ground, you wouldn't even know a gold nugget if you saw it in the ground, straight up, because it'd be covered in dirt, it'd be all nasty, and it'd be full of impurities. It has to go through that fire just like you have to go through that fire. What that's talking about is potential. It's talking about potential, right? I had to go through the fire, still going through it. You know what I'm saying? This walk in the truth is a long walk. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be brought to your potential, right? General Muhammad wasn't always General Muhammad. You get what I'm saying? He'll tell you he was a wicked nigga in the streets at one time. Wasn't worth nothing. He'll tell you that. I'm not saying that out of my own words. He'll tell you that. Commander General Muhammad, he wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Before he came into this truth, he was nothing. He had to be tried in the fire. He had potential to be something, but he wasn't. And so when he got tried in the fire coming into school in 1984, that man has been in the school in the truth for, I think that's what, 40 years? That's 40 years, right? It's like damn near 40 years, right? He had to be tried in that fire. That's how you become perfect. And he went through things, man. And he'll tell you about them. I ain't going to tell you. He'll tell you about them. You know what I'm saying? General Muhammad went through things. General Malika Ali, he went through things. General Hazayan, they all went through things to be tried in the fire to become better. That's that potential. And that's what Job understood. Job understood, yeah, I'm going to go through some hard things, but I'm going to be patient when I'm changed to that lower state, because just like gold has to become beautiful by going through the fire, I'm going to become perfect by going through my fire. You know what I'm saying? That fire of adversity, right? Go ahead. Shalaki, give me verse 12 if you could.
Verse 12. Woe be to the fearful hearts.
So the what?
Fearful hearts.
Listen, man, woe be to the fearful hearts. That's that destruction. WOE, right? Woe be to the fearful hearts. Go ahead.
And faint hands, and the sinner that goeth two ways.
And the sinner that goeth two ways. That's talking about somebody that gives up, man. That's talking about somebody that returns to their vomit. Like a dog returns to and just to make sure everybody understands that reference, right? Well, a dog throws up, you know, for whatever reason. I don't know why dogs throw up, but they throw up and then they come back and they eat it up. What is the spiritual significance of you throwing something up? You throw up the doctrine of Christianity when you come into the truth. You get rid of it. You expel it from your body, expel it from your mind, right? Just like a dog expels that food that didn't sit right with his stomach, so he throws up. But then the dog, with his dumb ass, he goes back and eats the same thing that his body rejected, which is that vomit, right? That's you going back to the thing that you rejected, that Christianity that your spirit rejected. You go back to that thing. You go back to the thing that you didn't want, that wasn't any good for you at all. You go back and you try to eat it back up. And within that Christianity, you was getting high, you was doing drugs, selling drugs, you was doing whatever you wanted to do. So you going back to that is you returning to that vomit. Just to make sure everybody understands what I'm talking about when I say that, right? And that's the sinner that goeth two ways. That's the when you are changed to that lower state, you become to have a fearful heart, right? And faint hands. You become weak. That's what faint hands are. You become weak and you become a sinner that go two ways, right? Give me verse 13.
Verse 13. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted.
Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, right? What do we say in the, like, people think that we're just terrible because of the slogans and the mottos that we have in the school. We say no cowards, man. That's what we say in here. You cannot be a coward in here. That's you being faint-hearted. And the Bible is telling you, woe to him that is faint-hearted. You get what I'm saying? Why? Go ahead.
For he believeth not.
He what? He believeth not. He believeth not. If you are a coward, man, you don't believe in the Most High. And I did a class about this a couple of weeks ago, right? Talking about fear. If you are a fearful person, I'm saying person on purpose because women, this includes women too. Society teaches you that women got to be weak and and terrible, right? And weak as hell and cowards. That's not the Bible, man. In the Bible, women have to be strong too. You know what I'm saying? Ask Esther if she, ask Esther what she had to go through. You know what I'm saying? She saved the nation of Israel. Ask Deborah what she had to do. Ask Judith what she had to do. Women are not allowed to be weak either. This is a sidebar, right? But we say no cowards. We don't want no cowards in our camp because the Bible says that there should be no cowards. The Bible says, "Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, because he believeth not." If you fear anything other than the Most High, then you're weak, and it's okay to be weak. You just have to learn how to not be weak. When you come into this truth, you're weak. When you first come into this truth, you're going to be weak. That's the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's just the truth about it. When you first come in, you're going to be weak. You have to be built up. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be built up. And that's what this truth is going to do for you, right? When you read scriptures like this and you get them broken down to you, like that's what's going to help you out. That's what's going to help you in the situations that you'll deal with, in the counsel, the wise counsel that you get from brothers, the brothers above you in here. That's what's going to help you not be faint-hearted, not be a coward, right? Keep going.
So therefore shall he not be defended.
And because you weaken, because you a coward, you won't be defended by the Most High. And that's a scary thing. And now, why am I bringing this up? With Job, right? Just to make sure everybody's still on track with what the program is, right? Job was defended by the Most High. And we'll talk about it in just a second, right? We'll talk about it in just a second. Right? Because he wasn't weak, he was defended by the Most High. But let's keep going, right? Verse 14.
Verse 14. Woe unto you that have lost patience.
Woe unto you that have lost patience. Once again, this class is titled The Patience of Job, right? That's what this class is called. Job had patience. That therefore he was not destroyed, right? But destruction unto you that have lost patience. If you lose patience, you're going to become destroyed, man. That's simple, right? Go ahead.
Right. And what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you?
And what are you going to do when the Lord visits you? What are you going to do? You're too weak to deal with, day-to-day problems. And that's why, and just so everybody understands, that's why the UPK is extremely important, right? Because we don't we think for you. That's what I say. We think for you. And the reason why that's important is because when you think for yourself, you get yourself in terrible situations. When you think, and that's me too. I'm saying, that's talking about me too. When I think for myself, I'm doing bad. You get what I'm saying? But when I go back to the counsel that I've received from the generals, when I go back to the counsels that I see from the captains and the officers in here, right? That's what I live by. Captain Zariak, he got the same thing going on as me in the respect of when he's thinking about doing something, General Muhammad's voice pops into his head and tells, basically nigga, that's stupid, or that's not, or that's a good idea, whatever the case is, right? But when he's making decisions, he thinks about what the men above him have told him and counseled him upon. And that's important. That's a good thing in here, because if niggas just made their own decisions, they do what they've been doing for the past 400 years, which is whatever the hell they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? When we've been in this captivity, especially once we got a little bit of freedom, when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit, right? We got high on crack cocaine. That's what we did. That's what we did with our freedom. When we thought for ourselves, we got high on crack cocaine, got high on marijuana, got drunk as all hell, left our women. You get what I'm saying? That's what we did when we thought for ourselves. That's why it's good that the UPK is here to think for us. And most high in Christ for that. Go ahead. You can say something?
I was just going to add, ISUPK and Humanitarian Hunt is like a tower against adversary.
Damn right.
Against, all your problems, your difficulties. They pour it on us and we go out and we help. Even brothers that aren't in the school, even brothers or sisters that are in the other schools, call, General Muhammad,
Yeah.
asking about, my husband, this and that.
Right.
Asking how to fix their marriages.
Right.
Asking how to fix their issues. How to get them, man. How to, how to stay, basically, how to deal with the problems that they're dealing with inside their own, foolish minds,
Right.
head. But yeah, they be calling us for all the types of, issues.
It's because they like even like you said, that was heavy you brought that out. Even them sisters that's in that purple group, they call General Muhammad. They call General. And listen, I don't know how you could be. It's like a sister in the UPK calling the IUIC for for counsel. You know what I'm saying? Like that's stupid.
I wouldn't relate it like that only because they don't have any knowledge.
Con, okay, I get what you
I
mean.
see what you mean,
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
I'm just saying, like, as far as organization wise, if you're in an organization, why don't you go to your organization for help? That's what I mean by that. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you go to your own organization, right? The reason why they don't go to their own organization is because their organization doesn't have the answers, doesn't have the help. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly. Why don't they go to their own leader?
Right.
Exactly.
Why can't they call one of their bishops or their deacons? You know what I'm saying? Why can't they do that? But they call General Muhammad because they know General Muhammad has the answers. And now, if I'll be a witness, when I've gotten counsel from General Muhammad, it's always been the answer, the solution.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, that you don't get from anywhere else. But
which just shows you, it just shows you that they pay attention to us. Like they watch us, they hear us, they listen to us.
Right.
Not only that, but they found out that their own people, that their own organization can't help them. So who do they have to go to?
Right.
Following us.
Right. It's a terrible thing. You get what I'm saying? It's terrible if they got to do that. They should just come into the UPK, but the pride won't allow them to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All right, let's get it. We're gonna have to go over just a little bit because I want to make sure I get all of the meat of this story. All right. Let me see. Oh, this is good. Let's keep reading, right? So let's read 17:18.
Right. Verse 17. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight, saying, we will fall into the hands of the Lord and not into the hands of men, for as his majesty is, so is his mercy.
Listen, man, the same way the Lord has majesty, greatness, right? The same way he is powerful, right? Is the same way is the same amount of mercy that he has, right? And that's what we got to understand. Like that, Job chose to fall into the hands of the Lord and not into the hands of men. That's what he chose, and we're gonna find out about it, right? I don't want to talk too much because I want to make sure we get the next 7. So let's get the next 7. I'm gonna read Job 2, chapter 2. We're gonna read verses 4 through 10. We'll read this in the Hebrew and then we'll break it down in the English. Because I really want to finish this story out. So, like I said, we'll be running over just a little bit. But all right, let me see. 2 and what I say? 4. I said 4, right? 4 through 10. All right, yeah. So verse 4. All right, verse 4. Job chapter 2, verse 4 in the Hebrew. Waya'ain Hashatan Ath Yahweh Waya Amar Iwar Ba'ar Iwar Wakal Ashar La'ayash Yathan Ba'id Napashwa, verse 5. Awalam Shalak Na'a Yadka Wagai Al Itazamwa Wa'al Basharwa Am La'a Al Panyaka Ya Baraka, verse 6. Waya Amar Yahweh Al Hashatan Hanawa Bayadka Aka Ath Napashwa Shamar, verse 7. Wayatazah Hashatan Ma'ath Panya Yahweh Wayaka Ath Wayawaba Bashak, it's like a Bashakian, Rai, Makapa, Ragawa, Id, Wa'id, Kora, Korakwadya. That's like what Korakwadwa, verse 8. Wayekwa, Lawa, Karash, Laha Kagaradam, Kagarada, Bawa, Waha Wa'a, Yashab, Bathawa, it's like a Bathwaka, Ha'apo, it's like a Ha'apar, verse 9. Watha Amar, Lawa, Ashatam, it's like a Ashathwa, Aidka, Makazayak, it's like a Bathamthika, Barak, Alahayim, it's like Wamath, verse 10, Wa Ya'amar, Al Yaha, Slaki Kadabar, Akath, Hanabarwath, Thadabarya, Gum, Ath, Slaki, Hatawab, Slaki, Hatawab, Nakwabal, Ma'ath, Alahayim, Wa'ath, Harai, La'ah, Nakwabal, Bakal, Za'ath, La'ah, Kata, Ayawab, Bashapakiwa. All right, so that was verses 6 through, verses 4 through 10 in the Hebrew. In the second chapter of Job. So now we're going to read that.
All right.
In English.
Job chapter 2, verse 4. And Satan answered the Lord and said.
So my bad. So I did it like this because it's 7 verses at a time, right? Let's start at verse 1, so that way we can get the context. Okay, so let's start at Job chapter 2, verse 1. So lock it.
Right. Verse 1. Again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord.
So now it says again, right? Because this is the second time this is happening. Remember, the first time, Satan, requested of the Lord that he could get permission to ruin Job's life. I just put it to you like that, right? And he was granted that permission, and Satan ruined Job's life, killed his kids, killed everything around him, right? Took his riches and all of that. Now there's a second time when Satan is coming into the counsel of the Lord, right? Go ahead, verse 2.
Verse 2. And the Lord said unto Satan, from whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it.
Right. Once again, the same thing. He's been doing it. That's how he gets around. You know what I'm saying? That's how he gets that's how he gets down. That's what he does. Right. He's constantly looking for that, that weak person. Right. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? And there is none like him in the earth, a perfect man, a perfect and upright man, one that fears God and escheweth evil, and still he holdeth fast his integrity.
And still he holds fast. That's a beautiful. And imagine the Lord saying that about you. Can the Lord say that about you? Probably not. He can't say that about you, right? Because now this is the same thing that the Lord just said the first time that Satan came to him, right? Have you considered my servant Job, that there's none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil? He said that the first time, but he added something on this time. He said, and still he holdeth fast his integrity. That's what a lot of people don't have, man. A lot of people do not have integrity. That's what a lot of people don't have. You got to find that thing. You have to do what it takes to have integrity. That's what you got to be able to do, right? Job had it, right? How did the Lord know that Job had integrity? Because he was tested and tried, and everything around him died, but he remained true to the Most High. That's what he did.
Right.
Right? Go ahead.
Although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause.
Without what?
Without cause.
Without cause. You're not Job. You deserve everything that's coming to you. Job, listen, man, Job was a little bit different than you are. Job was an upright man, a perfect man. And the only reason this happened to him was because he was being tested. The reason bad things are happening to you is because the Lord is he's trying to tell you that you're not perfect. That's what he's doing to you, right? And so now, right? So now the Lord is telling Satan, hey man, listen, you already have me, destroy this brother without a cause. You considering him again? I'm gonna hear your cause though. Let's see what he said. Verse 4.
Right. Verse 4. And Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin. Yea, all that a man hath will he give for his life.
He said skin for skin. Everything that a man has, he'll give for his life, sure. But keep going.
But put forth thy hand now and touch his bone and his flesh.
Touch what?
His bone and his flesh.
Right. Remember, the Lord told Satan that he could not touch him. He could not touch Job. He could touch everything around him, but he could not touch Job. But now Satan is requesting that he touch his bone and his flesh. Go ahead.
And he will curse thee to thy face.
If you allow me, listen, if you allow me to put my hand on him, he's gonna curse you to your face. Right? Go ahead.
So verse 6. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, he is in thy hand, but save his life.
Listen, man, then that's when the Lord gave him permission. Once again, that's the permission that Satan received. He could do whatever he wanted to Job, but he could not kill him. That's what he was saying, right? Go ahead.
Verse 7. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord and smote Job with sore boils.
With sore boils. Go ahead.
From the sole of his foot unto his crown.
That's a terrible thing. Boils are big, abscesses on your damn body. Big, it's not fun. I ain't never had them. I'm not saying it's not fun because I've experienced it, but I'm just saying I can assume that it wouldn't be a fun thing to have these big boils on your body, man. You know what I'm saying? On your own time, you can look up on Google boils. I'm not gonna show it in class. It's nasty. It's terrible looking. You know what I'm saying? But Job had big boils, all not just on certain parts of his body, but from the sole of his foot, right, to his crown, from head to toe, boils across his entire body. Imagine, you dealing with mourning your children, man. You mourning your children. You're mourning the fact that you lost all your money. And on top of that, you come down with this sickness of boils where you don't even know where it come from. That's right. That's enough to make a nigga give up, man. Give up the ghost and say, that's it. I'm done. That's enough for that. You know what I'm saying? But Job, let's see what Job did, though. Keep going.
Right. Verse 8. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself with all.
So he went ahead and he cured his boil. Well, I don't say cured, but he dealt with the boils that he was having. He was saying he took a potsherd. It's like he took a potsherd and he started to scrape the boils off of him. Right? Go ahead.
And he sat down among the ashes.
He got down. Listen, but just keep going, Salaki. Keep going. This is a terrible thing. Keep going.
Then said his wife unto him.
So now his wife is saying unto him, right? After all of these things have happened. This is the first time we hear about his wife saying anything, right? And this is what she said. Go ahead.
Dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die.
She said, do you still retain your integrity? After all this is happening, everything is happening, and you still calling on the Most High and praying to the Most High, and you're okay with this? Now, mind you, this is a woman that also went through the same things, right? She went through the same things as Job, right? Because that's her husband. So that means that those sheep were her sheep too. Those camels were her sheep too. Them children were her children too. So she lost her children. She lost her riches too. The difference between her and Job is she was like, damn, to hell with this, serving God shit. Excuse my language. To hell with that. Why am I, why serve God? God's doing this to you. Curse God and die. That's what she told her husband. And that shows you the difference between you and Job. Same way there's a difference between his wife and Job, it's the same way there's a difference between you and Job. Because when his wife was faced with that same adversity, she said, denounce God. To hell with God. Curse God and die. Right? But Job said, damn that. And we about to find out what Job said. What was his response to that? Keep going.
Verse 10. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh.
He said, you're stupid. That's what he said. That's old English for you're stupid. Shut the hell up. That's really what he said. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's the common, that's the modern way to say what Job said. You sound stupid, bitch. That's what he said. Right? Keep going.
What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God? And shall we not receive evil?
Listen, man, you telling me we just everything gotta be a walk in the park with the Lord? That's what people think, man, and that's so damn stupid. People think that way about relationships. People think that way about everything. Everything's supposed to be fun and easy. Life isn't about fun, man. Life is about war in the first place. But life is not supposed to be a walk in the park. It's not. Just like your relationship with your woman, you should think like Job. It's not supposed to be easy all the goddamn time. You are two people becoming one. That's a hard thing to do, man. Y'all gonna get into your little arguments. Y'all not gonna agree on everything. Y'all gonna have to settle disputes. You might have to go to council sometime. But point being is, you don't give the hell up. And that's the same way that your relationship with the Most High should be. Right. Your relationship with the Most High, and I hate saying relationship with the Most High, but just for the sake of the analogy, right? I'm gonna say it. Well, your relationship with the Most High is the same way. It's not always going to be a walk in the park. The Lord's going to, like Job said, shall we just only receive good at the hand of the Lord and not evil? Things are going to get hard sometimes. Imagine, serving the Lord is not necessarily an easy thing to do for the brothers, for the sisters, for everybody. For the brothers specifically, going out to camp and getting cussed out and water bottles and pizzas thrown at you, that's not a fun thing. You think we just do that because it's fun? It's not fun, but we do it because we receive good at the hand of the Lord for sure, because we're in the truth. But we also receive evil as well, right? How do I know we receive evil? Because when we go out there, it's nothing but evil out there trying to devour us. You know what I'm saying? Throwing stuff at us and cussing us out and hating us. We are hated for the Lord's name's sake.
Right, and it's really more about our people.
Right, and it'd be our people, and so not only is that a terrible thing to go through, but that's like a heartbreak at the same time.
Right,
because the same people that you going out there to save are the same people that hate you, man. You know what I'm saying? The same people that you're trying to give help to. Imagine walking up to a homeless person and saying, "Listen, man, I got a truck full of food for you, and I got the keys to a brand new house. You're not going to be homeless anymore. You have the keys to this house. You're going to have a house to live in. You're going to have shelter. You're going to have a pantry full of food, a kitchen full of food." And they tell you, "I don't want that. What the hell is wrong with you? Matter of fact, why are you coming to me talking to me about these damn keys? I don't want these keys to this house. I don't want that food. Shut the hell up and leave me alone." That's what we deal with serving God.
I'm telling our people, my father got many mentions, and they be like, and they be struggling, and fighting, and they curse us out, saying, don't prophesy unto us, or basically prophesy unto us smooth things. That's how they react. They throw us water bottles, pizza, or slushies and shit.
Right.
It's like it,
No, damn right.
But yeah, that bones don't want to live. Those bones want to stay dry.
Right. Yeah, no, damn right. You know what I'm saying? That's the point. And so just going back into, I know I kind of went off a little bit, right? But that's, that's the spirit behind all of this, right? And so at the end of the, give me James the first chapter again, if you could. James 1 and 2. Right? And all this did Job, it's like it did not Job sin with his lips. He didn't even speak evil against the Most High. You get what I'm saying? Nor did he, of course, did he not do anything evil against the Most High, but he didn't even say anything evil against the Most High. He still did not charge God foolishly after all of this. Let's find out. So let's find out what James got to say about this, right? Give me James 1 and 2.
Book of James, chapter 1, verse 2. My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations.
Listen, man, when you fall into diverse temptations, count it joy. Count it joy. And now, of course, once again, this is saying the same thing that Ecclesiasticus, the 2nd chapter, is saying. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Take it cheerfully, right? That's the same thing. It's not saying be happy and, skip up and down the street when your kids get killed. You know what I'm saying? That's not what it's saying. It's count it joy, meaning understand that the reason why you're going through this is because the Lord is putting you through this because he finds you worthy enough to be able to go through it. And that's something that not too many people can say. You know what I'm saying about themselves? They can't say that thing. Why? Why can't they say that? Because the Lord doesn't find them worthy enough to be able to overcome that. Listen, do you think that, remember, just to keep in context that Satan had to get permission from the Most High to tempt Job, right? So Satan also must have had to get permission to tempt Christ. Think about that, right?
Right.
So Jesus Christ, the greatest man to ever walk the face of this earth, Yahweh Shai Mashiach in the Hebrew, was tempted by Satan because the Lord found him worthy enough to be tempted and to go through that process. So now when you come into temptation, count it joy, my nigga. Count it joy, sis. Why? Because the Lord is finding you worthy enough to go through that temptation. Now, are you gonna fold? Are your knees gonna buckle? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows until it happens. You can talk a big game and say, "Oh man, if that would have happened to me, I'd do this, that, and the third," until it actually happens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I would count it joy when them things happen, and remember that's what the Lord is trying to do. He's trying to prove that you're worthy. But if not, you'll fold.
Same thing that happened to John the Baptist. John the Baptist, was basically he was telling his people, or he was actually more so talking to Christ, talking about, basically you should be baptizing me.
Yeah.
And out of the nowhere he gets, locked up, starts thinking, it's like, you know what, let me send 2 men to actually, reassure that this is
right.
Who we've been waiting for.
Right, and that's the only reason why he sent them in. The only reason he sent them in is because he was in prison. He was like, damn, this is supposed to be the Messiah, the Savior, and I'm supposed to be worshiping him, but I worshipped him, and I'm stuck in jail.
And Christ's response was, Yahweh's response was, like so smooth with it. It was like he didn't even answer. He was just like he was doing his work.
Right.
And then it's like after he was done, he's like, now you go back and tell him what you just seen. So it's like,
right, exactly.
I gotta say, I don't even gotta like, who are you to question? Like, like, who are you to question me?
Right.
But check this out.
Right. Tell him what you saw. Right.
Report
this back to him and tell him exactly what it is that you saw. He ain't had to say not a goddamn thing. Then he went, and then Christ went ahead and said, "Listen, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is still greater than John."
Still throwing shots.
Yeah, because shit. I mean, it's just that's how the Lord will look at you too, though. Think about it. I'm saying the Lord will look at you that same way if you decide that you're going to lose faith because what? Because you went to jail. Niggas go to jail every day. It's millions of people, millions of niggas specifically in jail today for something terrible. You know what I'm saying? For something that they did that was actually wrong. You can't, stand being in jail for the truth. You can't stand that. You can't stand, like, and that's what John was technically in jail. He didn't commit a sin or an actual crime. John was in jail for the truth. And so when he went to jail for the truth, that's when he started questioning Christ. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like them. That's why we say John the Baptist was not in the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because he left the truth. He was in the truth at one point. He told Christ, he said that Christ is he wasn't even worthy to wash Christ's feet. You know what I'm saying? It's like not wash Christ's feet. He wasn't worthy to bear the same shoes as Christ. I believe that's what he said, right? Point being is he said he's not as good as Christ. That's what he said. But he left that. He left the truth because he went to prison. When times got hard, he left the truth. Right. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like Job. He didn't have patience, right? Let me see.
Verse 3 or...
Yeah. Yep, verse 3. Slide.
James chapter 1, verse 3. Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience.
So we see patience continually, you know what I'm saying? Especially in relation to Job, right? Because he had that faith. He had faith in the Most High. Because if there wasn't a God and you didn't have faith in God, you can't tell me that you would be just, okay after your children died and after everything was taken from you, right? You couldn't say that. But because he had faith that there is a higher power that's in control of all of these things, which is the Most High God, he was cool. I'm saying I won't say cool like he was just, chilling, playing the Xbox, chilling, right? But he was cool in the sense that he didn't give up, right? Let's get verse 14. I'm just like 12.
Verse 12. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation.
Blessed is who?
The man that endureth temptation.
It says, blessed is the man that endureth temptation. Keep going.
For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life.
The what?
The crown of life.
Go ahead.
Which the Lord promised to the men that love him.
Listen, man. Give me Job 42. Let's get the conclusion of this matter, man. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation. Now, if you can't endure temptation, you won't be blessed. That's that simple, and it's elementary. You get what I'm saying? If you cannot endure temptation, you will not be blessed, right? And those are the people that give up. That's what that means. If you don't endure, the opposite of endure is give up. You know what I'm saying? And so many people do that. Job didn't give up. You know what I'm saying? And all this, he did not sin even with his lips. He didn't even speak negative about the situation. He said, man, listen, naked I came out of my mother's womb. Listen, naked I'll return thence. Meaning naked I'll die. Everything comes from the Lord. Punishment, blessing, curse, everything. Everything comes from the Lord. Just accept it. And that's one thing where you gotta really hone in on. Because the reason why a lot of people can't handle the truth is because they're not willing to put in the extra work. They're not willing to suffer. You get what I'm saying? And that causes so many people to lose out on this crown that we just read about. You get what I'm saying? But let's see, because we just read, blessed is the man that endured temptation. Let's see how they're blessed. Because Job, he endured a hell of a temptation. A hell of a temptation. His kids were killed. His livestock, everything that he had was gone. Job 42 and 10.
Book of Job, chapter 42, verse 10. And the Lord turned the captivity of Job.
And he turned the captivity of Job, right? Which is what can happen to us. Which is what will happen to us, right? The Lord is going to turn the captivity of the children of Israel. That's for sure. He's going to do that. That's prophecy. But why? Why will he do that for us? Because at that point, we'll have endured. The brothers and the sisters in the ISUPK will have endured all of the fiery trial that we've gone through. You know what I'm saying? Being in this truth. And that's what Job did. If you got to read, like everybody should read this entire book. But just to give, this is kind of like a crash course just for today, right? You going to say something?
No, I was just going to say, and didn't lose patience.
And didn't lose patience. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep going, right? The Lord turned the captivity of Job. Go ahead.
When he prayed for his friends, also the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before.
That's a blessing. That's the blessing that he received for enduring that temptation. He gave Job twice as much as he had before. Let's see what those things were. Keep going.
Then came there unto him all his brethren and all his sisters, and all they that had been of his acquaintance before, and did eat bread with him in his house, and they bemoaned him and comforted him over all the evil that the Lord had brought upon him. Every man also gave him a piece of money, and every one any earnings. It's like
And-
any earnings.
An earring.
It's like
An earring.
and every one an earring of gold.
Right. So now his brothers and his sisters came and bemoaned him, meaning they they knew what Job had gone through, and so they came and they was like, man, listen, it's a terrible thing that you went through. It's a terrible thing. Listen, man, I'm gonna give you a piece of money, right, and an earring of gold. They gave him riches. You know what I'm saying? Verse 12.
Verse 12. So the Lord blessed the later end of Job more than his beginning.
So the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than his beginning, meaning Job, after he had gone through everything, he gave him more than what he had before, which is important to understand. Keep going.
God. For he had 14,000 sheep.
14,000 sheep. God damn. Even today, that's thousands of dollars. You get what I'm saying? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Well, I don't say hundreds. 14,000 sheep. I wouldn't say hundreds of thousands. But that's a lot of goddamn money.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? 14,000 sheep. Keep going.
God. And 6,000 camels.
And 6,000 camels. Remember, these are all of the things that, remember, the Sabians came and destroyed his oxen. You get what I'm saying? The Chaldeans came and destroyed his sheep. All of these things. Right? But now he's getting all of these things back. It doesn't say how many he had originally, but how much he has right now is a whole lot. 14,000 sheep and 6,000 camels. Do you know? And that also tells you how much land that he had. That tells you how much land that he had, because in order to harbor all of these animals, you need acres. Right. Many acres. You got thousands of animals. Keep going.
And 1,000 yoke of oxen.
Mm-hmm.
And 1,000 asses.
Right. Listen, man. See, he had. That's a lot of goddamn livestock, man. That's thousands of dollars. Like I said, I don't want to say hundreds of thousands, but it's a lot of goddamn money. You know what I'm saying? Potential money, right? All of that is extreme. Listen, and the Lord, like I said, it doesn't say how many he had originally, but this is a lot. You know what I'm saying? This is tens of thousands of animals that are worth something. Right. Whether you sell them or whether they're doing something for your farm or for your land.
So basically, like, what do you profit from, being in the world?
Right.
Towards, what do you profit by serving the Lord, and having patience and enduring.
Right. That's why I always say this probably every week. You get what I'm saying? That the Lord is not a vain God. The trials that you have to go through, the hurdles that you got to jump over, it's not for no reason. When you endure, you get blessed, like this brother was blessed. Right. That's what happens to you. You get what I'm saying? But you have to get through it. Now, there's 40 chapters of Job just, mourning and damn near complaining, but he never sinned with his lips. He never, denounced the Most High. You get what I'm saying? He did kind of get into a little pity party. You know what I'm saying? He did do a little bit of that, right? But he never sinned, right? He never gave up. That's what he never did. And so the Most High came to him and, set him straight a little bit and then gave him all of these things. Let's keep going, though, because that's just his possessions. Let's see what else he gave him back. Go ahead.
He had also 7 sons and 3 daughters.
So he had 7 sons and 3 daughters, which I believe is more than he originally had, right? Keep going.
And he called the name of the first Jemima. Jemima. And the name of the second, Keziah. And the name of the third,
Karen-Hapuk.
Karen-Hapuk. Karen-Hapuk. And in all the land were no woman So, and in all the land were no women found so fair as the daughters of Job.
I mean, he had the baddest daughter. He had the bad. His daughters were the most beautiful women in the entire land, which is an honor for a father to have. It is. It's an honor for a father to have those types of daughters that are beautiful. You get what I'm saying? And well kept. And that's what his daughters were. His daughters were the fairest in the land. Keep going.
And their father gave them inheritance among their brethren.
And they even received inheritance among their brethren, which normally the firstborn child gets all of the inheritance according to Deuteronomy. You get what I'm saying?
So it just shows you he had enough to give.
He had enough. You know what I'm saying? He had enough to be. He had so much in abundance that he was able to give all of the boys, like I said, among their brethren. So all of the boys was able to receive an inheritance, and the daughters also,
Right.
which is beautiful. You get what I'm saying? Keep going.
After this lived Job 140 years,
Mm-hmm.
and saw his sons and his sons' sons, even 4 generations.
That's enough to make a nigga cry. That's a beautiful thing, because that's what every real man wants, is to be able to grow old and see his family grow. That's what a real man wants. And he saw his sons and his sons' sons, meaning his grandsons,
Right.
even 4 generations, meaning his great grandsons. He saw his great grandsons grow. You get what I'm saying? That's keep going.
And Job died, being old and full of days.
He died when he was old and full of days. He didn't die like niggas die today, man. He died being old and full of days. He was done, man. And that's a beautiful way to die. Think about like this. That's the kingdom. This what we just read about. That's the kingdom. Straight up and down. That what we just read about is the kingdom. Having an abundance of things, abundance of family, being able to see your children grow up, and then to see them raise their children, and to see their children raise their children. That's the kingdom of heaven, man.
It's like, and not only that, but they got all that, all that he had.
Right.
He had
Go ahead.
What they call generational wealth.
Right. God, you know what I'm saying? And that's the point. You know what I'm saying? That's the kingdom of heaven, man. Being old and full of days, that's the kingdom of heaven. Not dying, from a goddamn gunshot wound because you were murdered by somebody, right? Because of some stupid beef, or getting killed because of because of some garbage, whatever. I don't know. However people die today. Point being is, that's not how we're gonna die. In the kingdom, we're gonna die being old and full of days. What does mean? What is full of days? Maxed out, man. Maxed out. This is it. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna lay down. You're gonna be in your bed, and you're gonna lay down, and you're gonna go to sleep one day, and you're just not gonna wake up. And it's not gonna be in a way that somebody dies in their sleep from a heart attack or something crazy like that. You're just gonna be old and full of days, and your spirit's just gonna be like, hey, listen, man, it's time for us to kick the bucket. That's it. And then what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Your soul's gonna be sent up to the Lord, judged to where you're gonna go next. What body you're going to inhabit next. You know what I'm saying? You'll be regenerated into your grandson, or your great-grandson, or your great-great-great-grandson, or whatever the case, right? That's what's going to happen to you. That's the kingdom. So we saw a little bit of the kingdom in the book of Job, right? We saw a little bit of the kingdom in the book of Job. That's a beautiful thing, and what he received was only because of his patience, man. Because of his patience and because of his faith. We have to remember that in this truth, you have to be the type of person that can endure. That's why we say no cowards in here. We don't say no cowards because we just want to be, big brawny men and this, that, and the third. I mean, we big brawny men anyway. You get what I'm saying? We know cowards anyway. But the reason why we say no cowards is because we want everybody to be like Job. We want everybody to be like Christ when he was tempted.
I got a precept for that last part.
You got it.
It's Proverbs chapter 9, verse. Okay. Verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of thy holy is understanding. For by me thy days shall be multiplied, and the years of thy life shall be increased.
Right.
If thou be wise, thou shalt be wise for thyself. But if thou skirtest like that's it right there.
Con.
So his days were multiplied because
Hell yeah.
he did fear the Lord.
Right.
And through that he gained knowledge. So he knew what not to do. He knew what not to do. He knew how to, serve the Most High. He knew how to be patient.
Right.
He knew how to endure.
Right. And that's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? We all got to learn from story. Like the scriptures say, the things that were written aforetime are written for our learning. This book in here is not just for some, this book of Job is not for you to just be like, oh man, that's crazy. That's not what this book is about. This book is about it's for you to learn from. You should be like this brother, man. You know what I'm saying? When you go and you read David, you should be like that brother when he got right. You should be like Solomon when he got right. You get what I'm saying? The book of Proverbs is not for you. It's not just wise sayings for you to read and be like, damn, that's crazy. That's what's up. No, those are written for you to learn and for you to apply those things. You should apply what Job did. Now you really, and I know it's hard. Like I said, a lot of people say they'll do certain things, but when it comes down to it, when the time comes for them to do it, they don't do it. They're not cut out. You know what I'm saying, for that. They're not built like that. But what you should practice doing is you should practice the patience. You know what I'm saying, that Job practiced. You know what I'm saying? If you can do that, you know what I'm saying? Just like every muscle in your body has to be exercised for it to get stronger. You have to exercise your patience too. That's in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Your mind has to be exercised too. You got to exercise your patience, man. You know what I'm saying? With everything. You stuck in traffic and you want to cuss everybody out, don't. Just be like, hey, listen, man, I'm stuck in traffic. Like I said, it is what it is. That's like one of my favorite things, because what are you going to do about it? What is cussing going to do about, you being in traffic? What's it going to do? Is that going to make the cars move faster? No, it's not. So why even waste that energy like that? You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You're stuck in traffic. So now you could take that, being stuck in traffic, to what Job went through, which is, yeah, man, the Lord killed my kids, man. What am I going to do about it? What am I going to do about the Lord killing my kids? What am I going to do? Am I going to pray them back to life? Is that what's going to happen? Right? No, Job just understood this is what it is. This is the cards that I've been dealt. I got to play with these cards. That's what Job understood. That's what gave him patience. You know what I'm saying? So we all got to keep that same mindset. You had something?
I was just thinking about, brothers or, family members that they make them like an idol.
Yeah.
Which basically, so like that's something else.
No, but you're right too. You know what I'm saying? So that's the point, man. We got to have the same patience that Job had. And this is just part of it. Like I said, I tell everybody, please read the book of Job. I mean, all of it. There's so much wisdom in this book. Read the Bible, of course. Just read the whole thing, right? But specifically today, read the book of Job, man. You get what I'm saying? Read the book of Job, because there's so much to understand the thought process of a man that had this much patience is going to help you a lot. You get what I'm saying? It's going to help you a lot. So with that, we'll go ahead and close out the Sabbath service. Everybody, Amadiyam, which means to stand. We're going to read these prayers. Beginning with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. So Panyah Hagwadam, which means to turn and face the east. Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Awanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Taba'ah, Ratazah Ka, Hayah, Aisha, Baratazah, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathalanawa, Lakam, Kawyawam, Wasalak Lanawa, Kawabwath Nawa, Wasalag Nawa, Kawabwathia Nawa, Wala'ah, Tabaya Nawa, Manasai one, Abal, Hawashah Nawa, Mayan, Rakaya, Laka, Hamalagwa, Waha'alam, Watha Parath, La'awalamya, Aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy king, Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. The power in the Hebrew, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Baruch Nathalanawa, Hakak, Larapa'ah, Kal Maka'ala, Wakal Madawa, Hakak, Latahar, Hamatazariah, Hakak, Lakwayam, Hamathum, Hakak, Arwakawa, Hatama'ala, Lagarshan, Ba'ashem Yahushai, the Wad Aman. In the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power. The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power to the power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushai, so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Al-Haharya, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Isaiah, Ma'aim, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Warataza, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al-Yad, Yamyaka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makalra, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'afka, Waba, Wa'aka, Ma'aitha, Wa'ai, Iwalam. In the English, Psalms 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Yashala shall neither slumber nor sleep. It's like it. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. All right. Psalms, the 83rd chapter in the Hebrew. Alahayo, Adama Yalaka, Al Thakarash, Wa Al Thashakwat, Al Kayahna, Awa Yagika, Yahamaya 1, Ra'ash, Al Amaka, Ya'ara Yamwa, Sawada, Wayatha, Ya'aitazawa, Al Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakidam, Magalia, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yashala, Awada, Kaya, Nawaitazawa, Laba, Yakadwa, Alyaka, Baryat, Yakarathwa, Ahawya, Adawam, Wayashamai Aliyam, Yashabya, Tazawar, Gamashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zarwa, Labanya Lawat, Salah, Ashalaham, Kamayan, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayabyan, Banakal, Kwayashwan, Nashamadwa, Ba'ayan, Da'ara, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shayathamwa, Nada, Yabmawa, Ka'irab, Wakaza'aba, Wakazabak, Wakatazal, Mana'ai, Kal, Nasaya, Kamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Nairosha, Lanawa, Ath, Nawath, Alahaya, Shayathamwa, Kagalgala, Kakwash, Lapanya Raka, Ka'ash, Taba'ira, Ya'ira, Wakala Haba, Thalahat, Hayam, Khan, Tharadapma, Basa Irika, Wabasa, Wapatka, Taba'alam, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kuala Waya, Bakwashwa, Shamka, Yahweh, Yabashwa, Waya, Waya, Bahawa, Ayai, Waya, Kaparwa, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Da'iwa, Kayatha, Shamka, Yahweh, Labadka, Ayawan, I'll call, I'll recognize. All right, we're going to read Psalms 83 in English. Keep silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
And it's like, hold not thy peace.
And hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation. That the name of Yasharallah may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites. As to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kasan, which perished that endured. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zeel. Yea, all their princes as Zabah, and as Amunah, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. Oh my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest. So persecute them with thy tempest. And make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame. That they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded in trouble forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish. That men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, are the most high over all the earth. The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh. Wa Yahweh Shai. Wa Mayaka Allah. Wa Allah Hayim. Matazab Ya'ab. Allah Wap Yahana. Ha Allah Wapyum. Ha Saranyum. Ha Kwatazayanyum. Ha Kalyum. Wa Hathin. Yahweh. Ba Shem Yahweh Shai. Throughout our month. The blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yohanan, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you, so be it. All right, sorry. I'm going to give each other a salute out to Sabbath service. All right, men of Israel, Amadim Shabbat, Amadim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatha,
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatha,
Yahweh Matah, Sabbath service dismissed.